Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Resource Series. I am your host here on What's the Rate, Breon Lyons, and I'm with a very cool guest. I'm here with the founder and CEO of Facecard and model, David Akinyemi. Welcome to What's the Rate?
Ooh, yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so excited to have you. So let's dive right into it and just talk about your product, Facecard, and what that is.
Yeah, and so Facecard really is, not to be all nerdy, but it's an AI tool that helps creatives get paid faster and then handle all the boring business work. And so everything from invoicing to like helping you with emails, filling out forms, and then most importantly, like getting you paid faster so you're not dealing with net 30, net 60, net 90 contract terms. And so that really is what Facecard is in a nutshell.
Yeah. So what began the concept? I know you're also a model, so net 30, net 40, net 50, what have you jobs are something that's very regular for us to kind of run into if you are in the modeling industry. So just talk about the moment where you finally came up with the concept and you were like, I'm going to act on this because it's needed.
No, definitely. And so in my experience doing jobs, like I was lucky enough to work with big brands. So I worked with like New Balance, Old Navy, Gap, and it was like awesome. But you realize you're on this massive high of like achieving a goal that you forget the business side of things. And so I booked these big campaigns, but then I'm waiting 2 months to get paid. You might even seen it on TV or sending it out to your friends, but like behind the scenes, you're still waiting on that money. And when I experienced it, it was kind of this painful thing, but I usually always had other jobs I had on the side to kind of like supplement and make money with me as well. But the more creatives I've met who were like, oh no, this is like my livelihood right here and I'm still dealing with the issues, the more I realize like unless someone comes and tries to build something to change things, like less and less people are going to be able to do what they love for a living. And when I think about like younger generations, like my younger sister and people who are like trying to be their own boss, trying to turn this into a career, like they're going to need these tools to help them. And so that's where we were like, it's time we made a change and be the change we sought kind of thing.
Yeah. So why just over text? Because I do want to specify that this is a service that is done entirely over text message. So talk to us about why you chose that format specifically.
Yeah, it's good. That's good. Yeah. Did your research. Okay. So really when we were first building it, the idea was like, how do we make this as seamless as possible? And I remembered with all my agencies that I worked with, the best ones were the ones that like, it felt like magic, one text away. And so if I wanted, they had a job for me. Hey, David, there's this job. Do you want to do it? I'm just texting back, yes. Like, hey, David, you want us to send this invoice? Yes. Like, it was like a magic magician behind a text message. And we were like, hey, what if we can just recreate that same experience for people like us who are like working on the go? Like, we don't have time to sit in an email or have time to log into a platform and dashboard spreadsheets. We just want stuff to happen. And so it was like, what better way to do that than text messages? And so the thing is, we do have an app, but the idea is like you just use the app to like get started and then you have like your personal assistant to do all that other stuff for you.
Yeah. So I imagine it'd be very similar to the process of like with like EcoCast or things like that, or like Backstage, right? Where you fill in all of your stats, your name, your descriptors and things like that. And then from there, once you plug it into the app, when you move over to text and it's time to submit you to things, that's when it takes all that information and goes ahead and fills it out for you, right?
Exactly. And so your profile pretty much in the app stores like your name, your demographics, your social media, things like that. And then from there, you're able to connect your email and then create like a digital wallet. And so like pretty much an account. And so from there, the text messages are able to pretty much do anything using those sources. And so you can send emails for specific castings with your dimensions. The emails come from your email. So it's like almost like someone's just doing the work for you as opposed to like a random email sending stuff for you. And then when you think about like payments and like invoicing and all that stuff, because you have the account with us, like we're able to make sure you're getting paid as quickly as possible. It's going directly into your account and you can do what you want with that money.
That's so interesting how you're able to take AI and use it to the benefit of artists. Because right now, and I'm interested as to what your take is on this too, with AI implemented into the art world, we're using it to our benefit right now to make these things a lot more seamless with the admin side, because admittingly, a lot of creatives aren't too versed in the administrative side, the paperwork, the business, right? So talk to me about your take on AI and the creative world and replacing humans when art and creativity is the most human thing, I feel like.
No, definitely. I think it's a good point, and it's something we talk about all the time, is like, how do we use AI as a tool to uplift like the things that we love about human interaction, human creativity, and how does that like play into the trends we're seeing? And so my take is that I think we're going to see more and more AI generated content, but as a result, I think we're going to be able to like fall in love more with the things that are human created. I do think there will be some consolidation in some industries where like they rely heavily on AI, but the people who stand out are the ones who are truly leaning into their unique and human elements, because it'll feel like a breath of fresh air kind of thing. And so I'm big on like, hey, figure out all the AI tools that exist and use them as like your tool belt. But the thing that's going to get you booked, the things that make you stand out, is like you leaning into you, because AI can never replicate that.
Right. Yeah. So talk to me how you balance your personal life, modeling, and being a founder and CEO of this new gadget. You know what I mean? So talk to me about that. And talk to me about all those different facets as well. Like, talk to us about who David is.
No, definitely. I think David is a bunch of things. I think really what's cool about it is I've always been in love with like being challenged in different ways. So I was never really tied to doing one thing and being stuck doing that thing, because I'd get bored. And so I think the cool thing about being the entrepreneur I am now, where it's like, I have a startup, I'm still modeling, like a part of my startup is like these awesome events that we're doing. So I'm still doing a lot of these event coordinations. I also have a tech background. So I'm like always tapping into like innovation. When we talk about the software, is that I'm never bored, which is what I love. But it definitely is time consuming. And I think the cool thing about it is I wouldn't rather spend my time any other way. And so it takes a lot of time, but it's like such fulfilling work that I know this is like what I was born to do, kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. And then modeling, talk about that.
Yeah. And so crazy enough, I started modeling maybe like 4 years ago in San Francisco.
Oh. Yeah. Wait, where are you from?
Initially from New Jersey, but I'm kind of been all over the place. So New Jersey, Virginia, San Francisco, now come back to New York. Yeah. But when I was in San Francisco, we used to throw a lot of parties in San Francisco as well. Something just kind of feels like it's in my DNA. And I remember one time there was a music artist that came to my party and was like, hey, you kind of have a look. We're doing this music video. You should be in it. Didn't think anything of it. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, go get a drink. But turned out like 2 weeks later, I get this massive email, fat contract, like amazing opportunity, did the music video. And I think with all creatives, you realize that like relationships is what makes you go far. And so met the director, met the videographer, met the DP. That led to another job, that led to another job, that led to my first agency, that led to my second agency, that led to us building Facecard, and that leads to me now where I signed with a new agency with LA Models, which is exciting.
Yeah, LA Models, wow. That's really cool. Yeah, woo, woo, woo. Come on, wins. So where did you go to college?
So I went to school, small school in Maine called Bates College.
Oh, okay. So, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, most people haven't.
Okay.
But I went there to initially play basketball. So I was there to play basketball. And I knew I was kind of always into innovation and technology, but we didn't have that many kind of things. So I was like, I'll figure it out myself. Kind of rode that wave, and then realized after I really do love the arts and creativity. So how can I combine that with technology, which led to Facecard.
Yeah. So you're able to fully self-fund yourself in the sense of like, this is what you do full time?
This is what I do full time.
Wow.
But it is a grind. It's not saying we're balling, but I think we're able to understand like making the right sacrifices for the business. And so being capital efficient, which I know it's not very easy, but like understanding like how much money we're spending on certain things with the business, how much money we're bringing in now, or like we're trying to bring in over the certain amount of time, and being able to like plan those things out in a way that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and that's so good that you say that, because a lot of people, like I was saying in the beginning, a lot of artists aren't super like finance or tech savvy, you know? So this is good that we have like this intersection sitting right here behind the mic,
No, definitely.
You know? So talk to us about just like how you guys go about doing that financial strategy for your business, working together, because you were telling me before that you have a partner that you have known for a long time. So talk to me about that.
Definitely. And so my business partner, his name's George, my co-founder, we've known each other for 12 years. And when we came together to build this, I think the one thing that gave us an advantage of is like being able to have like honest conversations. And I think it's a great thing. Sometimes it's definitely a frustrating thing. But in terms of like being able to navigate like finances, which is usually a touchy subject, like we don't want to talk about, which I think is awesome that you have this podcast where we're able to have those conversations. But a lot of the times it's like too taboo to talk about, hey, how much money are we making? We need to be making more. We're not making enough. But because we've known each other for that long, we're able to have those conversations in a way that's like truthful, direct, and allows us to make like very important changes for the sake of not only the business, but for like us as people and just as our friendship as well.
Yeah. And always reminding yourself that it's doing what's best for the business and you guys are a team, right? Yeah. And if anything, it'd be you guys as friends and the business, not you guys against each other in the business. Does that make sense?
No,
it's like you guys know that you're a unit, right? And I know it's pretty much a given, but sometimes, I mean, they say you're not supposed to mix business with friends, right? So not many people practice that concept. They just preach it.
No, yeah.
Right?
And it's tough. I don't think anything about it is easy. But I think there's definitely some major pros versus like the cons that come with it. And so I'm grateful.
Yeah. So talk about the sacrifices, talk about the grind a little bit.
Yeah, no, I definitely would say like, obviously, so me and my co-founder George both come from tech backgrounds, as well as like creative backgrounds. And I won't lie, the tech salaries are phenomenal. But we both quit our jobs. So making 6-figure jobs, quit our jobs because we believe in what we're doing with Facecard.
And when did you guys do that? So
we quit maybe like last year.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And so we've been doing this for, obviously, like, it took us some time to really understand the best way to go to market, like how to go out. And we're still pretty early.
Yeah.
But yeah, we left our jobs, great paying jobs, real comfort, comfortability for this risk that we think is going to pay off, not only like for us, but more importantly for the community we're trying to impact. And I think even when we see little glimpse of it now, it's kind of like that reassuring feeling of like, man, forget that 6-figure job. We're building like a legacy here. And so that's definitely a sacrifice there. I know I mentioned also the time component, you know what I mean? Like there's so many things we say no to, you know what I mean? Like because we need to like stay in and work, or like because we need to do things that are more beneficial for the business than they are for us as like individuals. And so definitely a lot of sacrifice. But I remember we had an event in New York maybe like 2 months ago, and someone came and they're like, I've been following you guys since you first started and I love you guys. And it's like, that's like, makes everything worth it. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, we're not crazy. Like people like what we're doing, we're making an impact. And so risk reward is kind of how we look at it.
Yeah. Wow. You guys have been in New York for how long again? A year?
So my co-founder has been in New York for maybe, he's been here a lot longer than I have. I'm just now kind of settling in here. And so I'm still pretty new to New York, but I grew up in New Jersey. So I tell people, I'm like your cousin already. Like we're close.
Yeah. Wow. So tell me about if you believe that this work is easier or harder being in New York City rather than in California.
100% easier in New York. I think San Francisco, cool. I think when you think about like the creative ecosystem, even the modeling space in San Francisco is very like, has a very niche, like commercial-esque, like very like Old Navy, Gap, Levi's. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like very like this type of commercial segment versus New York. There's a lot more, not even in the modeling space, but creatives broadly. Like I think we've met even people who are like ceramicists or like painters, where in San Francisco, that's like very, very rare. Not only that, but I think the community of creatives here like are hungrier and like also like I guess more loving in the sense of like they love seeing people do unique and creative things is what I've experienced. And so I think even in that space, like the connections we've been able to build so quickly is because like people here are really more genuine when it comes to like someone trying to make a change. And so I like that a lot here.
Yeah. I feel like New York really embraces the process and the DIY. I say that all the time, but it is a lot. It's a nice community. Like you find community a bit easier here.
Yeah.
I feel like especially in Brooklyn. Yeah. I don't know.
Definitely. I love it.
But anyways, how do you recommend artists in New York City build a life that is financially sustainable and creative fulfilling in your experience? So I know that Facecard is pretty new, but with what you've learned so far in Facecard, is there any advice that you have with balancing that for our creatives out there?
Yeah. And so specifically about financial stability and life fulfilling, correct?
Yes.
I would say the biggest thing is living within your means. I think it's tough because you're in New York where everything costs money and it feels like almost not a popularity contest, but like the Flex Olympics.
Yeah.
And I think that can easily feel like a signal of success is who can flex the most. And it can kind of be discouraging in the sense of, oh, if I'm not spending this much money or making this much money, then I must not be having a good life, as opposed to, like you mentioned, like leaning into actually what is fulfilling you. Like, you know what I mean? Like whether that's like being able to spend a lot of time with your friends or see your family or like go to a museum, like understanding really what is fulfilling versus what is just a facade and clout. And then once you kind of have that kind of central grounding, being able to like use simple tools, whether it's spreadsheets, whether it's a notepad, whether it's this amazing product Facecard to help you like keep track of your expenses and like what you're spending so that like you can not only understand where you are today financially, but also more importantly, like plan out where you want to be. And so I think it's kind of twofold, where one is more like digging deep and understanding like what really fulfills you. And then two, being more like proactive about like the numbers and like the trends you're seeing, like, okay, why am I eating Chipotle every single day when like I should get some groceries, like things like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Smart spending, smart money habits early.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. So were there any moments throughout your development of Facecard and also just your own business that you felt doubt, right? And you were able to push through and just like show a bit of resilience. So just tell me about a moment where that happened for you.
Yeah. I feel like we have those moments all the time.
Yeah.
I think for us, if I'm being honest, I think the biggest thing for us has been really trying to find out like what of what we're building makes the most impact today. Because when we're building Facecard and like we're thinking about ways that we can help people, there's so many ideas, there's so many things. It's like we can help them with emails, we can help them with forms, we can help them with contracts, we can help them with this. And a lot of the times when you're thinking about building a business, it's like you want the simplest thing that makes the most impact to a person's life. And like, it took us a while to realize what that was. And I think sometimes it feels like you're going in loops and circles and like, but no path is like the same. No path is a direct line. And I feel like, you know what I mean? That's not easy. You know what I mean? Like feeling like, oh, we were just here and we just came back to it. Damn, I wish I knew this earlier kind of thing. But I think more than anything, it shows resilience. It shows the trust my co-founder has in me as a CEO. I think it shows us a lot in terms of like being able to understand that this isn't going to be easy, but also being able to like always prioritize what's helping people the most. And so I feel like that it's not like a moment, but it's more like a trend that we've realized when building a business, that like always focus on the change you're trying to make and always understand that it's never going to be easy. It's never going to be a straight line drive, but as long as you keep moving, you'll get there.
Yeah. It's like the golden key for like all entrepreneurship, right? There's
Literally.
Never any clear path. You know, you can only take the advice, the courses,
Exactly.
the business models as examples, you know what I mean? But when you're building something completely new, and in this case, especially with AI, right? In the creative field where it's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum with AI and technological advancement, like it can feel like weird, and you definitely would have those moments of like, yo, is this really gonna work out? You know, it's completely brand new. So you're like I was saying before, it's the intersection, kind of like meeting it in the middle and having them marry each other, these two concepts that are kind of fighting against each other right now.
Exactly.
You know?
No, exactly.
So so going back to what you're saying about things that you wish you knew earlier, so knowing what you know right now, what do you wish you knew when you began Facecard?
Definitely some of the people I know now. I wish I knew them earlier.
Well, of course.
Obviously, I can't do that. The community more.
Okay.
I think, like I mentioned, so we do a lot of events, as you know, like...
Yeah, talk about the events too, once we get there. Yeah.
Right, so we do a lot of events like Mixers, Nightlife, New York, Miami, San Francisco, LA soon. And the whole idea is that we want to give you the tools with Facecard, but those tools are meaningless without the in-person connections that you need to kind of like build your career. And so we're kind of tapping into the AI side of things with that human touch, which things makes us unique. But like I mentioned, like we had that event where people came and they were like, we love you guys on social media. Like, you guys are really cool, really sleek, like really like tapped into the culture. And there's a girl who came up and she was telling us all these things about how she loved us. And she was like, but let me also tell you what I hate. Uh-huh. And it was like, whoa, but it was also like probably the best conversation we had ever with someone where they were like, I've been following you for 6 months. Here's all the things I'm confused on. Like, and we ended up like doing another call with her, like, hey, let's set up a Zoom. And it was so eye-opening to really like lean into the people you're trying to help, because you can make so many assumptions. Like you can be like, this went viral, so this is great. Or like, people really signed up on this day, so this was awesome. But then you can overlook like really like the people you're trying to help. And I think if we leaned into them a lot more, I think we would have gotten to where we are right now a lot faster. But all in all, again, it's never a straight line drive. It's kind of that loop-de-loop. But being able to like truly have these conversations with people who believe in us, understand what they love, but more importantly, what they hate, and so that we know where we need to improve.
Do you feel as though wealth privilege still plays a role in who gets ahead in this industry?
Yes. My caveat is I think that's every industry.
Right.
And I do think there's ways to circumvent that, which I always was a firm believer that like whoever works the hardest is destined to succeed. I also think there's a sense of it, which in this industry, I think you being yourself is like truly like the missing recipe. Like if you can truly be yourself, be as genuinely you, like opportunities are going to find you, and you're going to make the right connections. And then lastly, I'd say, being able to make connections and knowing how to like, I don't call it networking, but like actually build relationships is something that I think a lot of people overlook in this industry, because if you don't have what I'm looking for right now, you're not the person I want to talk to. And I think that's very detrimental to like, not only your career, but just simply being a human being. Like, damn, dude, like, why not just talk to someone and find some common ground and use that as a way to like build a human connection? And so I've made connections with like, for example, we have some investors who like became investors because we shared a music taste. Like they're putting me on to like Joni Mitchell, and I'm putting them on to like Frank Ocean. And like, these are people who are generations above me. But because I wasn't like, I'm only looking for this thing. If you can't provide this thing, you're not someone I want to talk to. It's like, hey, you're someone who I never would have spoke to. We have this unique combination, and that flourished this massive opportunity. And so I do believe like wealth and access and those things are definitely like a leg up in this industry, the same way it is in any other industry. But like, there's other ways that I think people need to like course correct if they want to succeed, because it's so easy to get like shallow and like gimme, as opposed to like really truly like looking at this as like a way to build connections and make impact. Yeah.
Wealth can only get you so far, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's so reassuring, right? To just remember that who you are is gonna keep you in the room always. Exactly. No room can ever, or no amount of money could ever keep you in a space, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. And attention and connection. I feel like, you know what, honestly, people would say attention is the new currency, but I think we're moving into connection being the new currency. I know that sounds really corny. No, that's good. But I know, I like how it sounded. So I looked into the camera when I said it. I was like, soundbite.
That's good. That's really good.
Anyway, no, yeah, and especially with the internet, I feel like people really downplay, I mean, not anymore, but I think if you have access to the internet, you are also extremely wealthy in the sense of just that asset of accessibility, right? Like wealth can it can buy you X, Y, and Z materials or resources that you need, but man, the internet, you know, is the strongest resource that you probably have nowadays.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Especially when you think about like putting yourself out there now. Yeah. Like it's very easy. I just got on to, I'm late to the game, but I just got on to TikTok.
I know.
And it was my co-founder who told me, yo, you got to be on TikTok. Because I'm more of an Instagram guy. But I just started posting and things like that. And I'm realizing, oh no, like this is really like the secret sauce here. Like you have, there's no barriers for you putting your stuff out there. If you're smart about it, you can do it in a way where none of your friends see it. And so like there's no anxiety around it. And it really is a way for you to like build new communities, learn new things, as well as like find people who actually like care about what you're doing. And I think that's kind of been like awesome. Still trying to figure it out. I don't know how to make something like just go viral like that, but I think it's cool that it's like that easy for anyone.
Yeah. Your guys' Instagram page is so relatable.
Thanks.
Like, yeah. Who does your social media?
Me.
You do?
I do.
You make those memes?
I make the memes. I feel like I make most of all of it. We've had some like contractors here and there who've also been amazing.
Yeah.
But mostly it's me.
Yeah, no, those memes are so relatable. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I see myself in a couple of those. I'm like, wow, you hit this one right on the head.
No, I love that.
I do want to talk about how you were able to secure those investors, you know, so I want to get into the business side, you know, so being an entrepreneur and you said capital, so I'm the performer,
Okay.
but bear with me. So talk about capital gain and like investors and just where to start as an entrepreneur and how to pitch yourself, you know, and with being young, right?
Yeah.
And asking for large lump sums of money, you know, with something so brand new and not really promised, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about that process and how you were able to secure that.
Definitely. And so we've been able to raise so far like $200,000. And I think the biggest thing when I go into like fundraising is being able to really communicate clearly what we're trying to do and clearly communicate the vision and the impact this is going to make, not just in my life and my community, but largely, like how does this change the world? And I truly believe that what we're doing for Facecard, obviously we're starting very niche with models and broadly than the creative industry, but we believe that like the future of like quote unquote work is going to belong to like the individual, like less and less people. I think the stats like 300 million jobs are going to be lost by AI. And our generation, like 70% of us are already freelancing because we don't think like the 9 to 5 is safe anymore. Like we think the safest bet is betting on ourselves. And I think it makes sense. It's like if everyone now wants to be their own boss and they have the tools to do so, like they're all going to need a Facecard assistant to help them do the back office for them. And so I think one, it's like being able to communicate like, hey, that's the impact we're making, not just on the people we care about and we're close to, but like on the world, like, because this is how things are changing. I also think it's like also making sure you're not just looking at people as dollar signs when it comes to investors, but also like people who truly resonate with what you're building and like are aware of the space. Like even you being able to say like, I resonate with the memes you make. Like if your investor doesn't resonate with the memes, like I feel like that's a question you should ask yourself. Like, why would you want money from someone who has no idea what you're doing and like doesn't resonate with the space versus someone who's like, oh, I need to put my money here because this thing is actually going to take off kind of thing. And so I know it's kind of a bunch of nothing answers, but like those are kind of some things I keep in mind when fundraising and looking for capital for the business. But maybe ask me some more questions. I can give some more like skills.
Yeah. So how did you find the investors that you got, if you're comfortable sharing that?
Yeah. And so for us, we went through an accelerator program. And pretty much these accelerator programs are pretty much corporate organizations who allocate a certain amount of funds to like young startups. And they want to invest. It's like a pretty long process. You have to apply. You have to do a bunch of interviews, pitch your business. But we went through one called Techstars, which is powered by JP Morgan. And so that was our first major investor. And then from there, we were able to pretty much go through angel network or angel investors, and pretty much a lot of angel investors. We won a grant. I won a grant like maybe like 2 weeks ago too. That's pretty sick from SVB. But pretty much when it came to the angel investors, really my process was how can I identify people who I believe in the space, show them what we're trying to do, and then let the opportunity present itself either for investment or more importantly, just advice. I think the funny thing is like when we have investors, like I kind of look at them as people who are on the team. And so if I can get someone to like technically be on the team for free, like, hey, I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions and get you to work for me for free. Eventually they're going to be like, hey, you're doing a lot of good things. And I know because I'm helping you, I want some of this. So I want to invest. And so I usually like approach that in a way where it's like, if I wanted to build the all-star team to make this succeed, whether it's technology or whether it's like, hey, you're looking funding for a film or looking for funding for a fashion show, like if I was building the all-star team, obviously everyone wants like the richest guy in the world, but like more realistically, who would be in that all-star team and how can I get them to kind of work with me for free? And then using that as almost like the game plan of like, if I know they like this, I know they're part of like helping me succeed, that investment opportunity doesn't feel like it's coming out of left field. It feels like a natural conversation.
Okay. All right. And then with the business model that you created, so does that go through numerous revisions, or did you guys have mentors that you ran it past before finally presenting it? I just am interested as to how you were able to strengthen your pitch enough to where you were confident enough to go ahead and send it out to these investors, or talk to these investors, show it to these investors, you know what I mean? Yeah. So just talk to me about that.
Yeah. And so I guess detailed about the business model, it's like, it's something we were lucky enough in the accelerator program. So it's a 3-month program where you're like boot camp, like every day, all day, grinding on your business, getting advice, getting feedback. And I think for us, that allowed us to get a lot of feedback on the business model as well as the pitch. And then we would pitch anyone and everyone. And so like we'd pitch friends, we'd pitch family, we'd pitch cousins, like we'd pitch random strangers. Like we would just pitch as many people as possible and get as much feedback as possible. And so, for example, I'm probably like a weird dude, but like, let's say my pitch is actually 10 slides on a pitch deck, but my actual deck has maybe like 100 slides. And the reason is because every question I've ever heard from someone, I've made in a slide for it. And so at this point, when someone's like, if I'm pitching someone in my startup, I'm on a call and they ask me a question, it's like, oh, great question, slide 43. Great question, slide 62. Great question, slide 27. Like I've heard so many questions that's because like I'm kind of crazy about it, but I've like want to be the best possible and I don't want to waste any opportunity. And so we went through the ringer when it comes to feedback. And now we kind of have that confidence to know like we have an answer for everything because we thought about everything. And if we don't, we're not afraid to like tell you like, hey, that's not something we've thought about. And it's a great question. Like this is why you're someone we need on our team.
Wow. I never thought about that like that. That's really dope that you're able to go that extensively into it and be so prepared.
Yeah. I think it's a little crazy, but yeah.
No, yeah. I've come across people like that. I've worked for people who are very, very organized to the T, to where it's like that person had bins of stuff, could tell you exactly what was said and what was written at what time when it came to like their business and like their assets and things like that. So it is a lot, but it's admirable, you know, to be that prepared, you know, and to know what's going on in your mix, like to that grade.
Yeah. Can I add to that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the other thing too is like that level of detail, I think also gives people more reassurance in what you're doing. Like even if like I don't fully know what you're doing or I don't fully like am bought in yet, the fact that like you have that level of detail or that like level of understanding is something that gives me more confidence that like if anyone's going to figure out it's this guy kind of thing or this girl. And so I think I overdo it sometimes, but I think everyone should have a level of like that detail of like, oh, I know what I'm talking about. Especially when it comes to funding for like creative projects. I also know that's a tough thing as well that a lot of people have told me about is like, how do I get funding for my creative projects? And I told them like, you got to make sure you're the like leader of this thing and that no one can ask you something or question you in a way that like you're not ready for.
What is a class, a habit, or practice that you would highly encourage our listeners to start incorporating into their process? This could be creatively, this could be entrepreneur-wise.
Okay. Mine's kind of like boring.
It's okay. If it's real, that's all we really care about.
My one is, I think more people need to write things down.
I'm such an advocate for that. I truly support that.
Yeah.
100% agree. Like the guy on Subway takes 100% agree.
I think the biggest lie we tell ourselves is, oh, I don't need to write that down. And whether it's like something you needed to do or an idea that comes up or like a reminder for yourself, like, or message you when to send something, like I think we need to write more things down. And I think I like live by it. Like I keep everything in my notes or like a to-do list or like And so writing more things down is definitely something I'd pass along, as well as like not being afraid to take risks.
Yeah.
I think the quote I heard was, you either take the risk or miss the opportunity. And there's only so many opportunities that come your way. Like, obviously you can manufacture, you can like work your way in certain rooms, but like if you're not ready to take the risks or like take the leap, like if you won't believe in yourself, then who will, kind of thing. And so always be ready to take the risk when the opportunity meets you at the right time, kind of thing.
Yeah. So getting into when you took that risk, I just want to really dial into that moment. So when you were like, I'm just going to quit this 6-figure job and I'm just going to go for it. So what was the community around you then? And like, how were you able to financially support yourself when you did take that risk? Did you save?
Yeah.
What was your personal living life like in that moment?
So the good thing is, working at a tech, you're able to save a lot of money. So I did save a lot, as well as we did get a lot of investment at the time. And so that was helpful. Obviously, like, I was taking that risk, and I was like, in my gut, I'm like, oh no, I need to be doing this. Like, this is exactly what I'm doing. But then you also have the feeling of like, this is nervous. Like, I'm nervous. Like, am I making the right decision? Like, what's going on? And I think actually what like was the most like reassuring, like you said, was the people around me, where like I would tell them what I'm doing, and their response all the time was like, oh, perfect. Like, you're the guy to be doing this. Like, if there's anyone who's going to do something like this and like succeed, like, it's you. And I was like, huh, okay. Like, if all these people were telling me like, yes, go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it, who am I to like doubt myself? Obviously, like, I have like this like feeling of like confidence and like can do anything, but like, somebody, remember, you're human, like you make mistakes and things like that. And so I think my community of friends, of family, like everyone being like, go for it, like, you guys got this, was like an amazing feeling. And I guess goes back to the idea of like, what I love about New Yorkers was like, you can really build a genuine community here, like of people who like want to see you succeed, want to win with you, want to work with you. And like all boats rise kind of at the same time. And so as you go up, like they'll go up, and we'll all see each other at the top, kind of thing.
So where do you see Facecard going from here? Do you want to expand it even more? Do you want to keep it where it's at and have it be known for what it already is, in the sense of what it provides? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you see for it?
I think for Facecard, I think the biggest thing is really being the tool that empowers people to be their own boss. And so how can we really be known as like the AI assistant, obviously for the cool kids, because we're all really cool, but more importantly, that's like giving people like the reassurance that like, I can handle all this stuff. Like, I can follow my dreams and make sure like I'm providing a living for myself, whether it's like the biggest problem we see on the platform is people wanting to get paid faster, or it's like people who's like, hey, how do I make better contracts, or like improve with emailing and things like that. And so I think from the impact, like we want to make sure we're kind of that foot in the ground. That's who we are. But also more like expanding our events. And so we're trying to be more consistent, trying to be more unique as well. And so, like I said, we got one this Saturday in Miami, which is an exciting one, collaborating with a collective out there called Burgundy. We were collaborating with a beauty brand called 9 Glow Skin, which is exciting. And so really making sure people also feel like we're not just some like tech company. Because I think it's very easy to like fall into that mindset of like, oh, we'll just be a Google or be something like that, where like you don't feel that personal connection. Like, you don't feel like this is someone I know who can trust and like resonates with me. And I think those in-person experiences like really do that. And so making sure that we're not putting our or letting our foot off the gas when it comes to those things.
Yeah. So going back to the instant pay.
Correct.
So I really want to know how that works. So you guys partner with Stripe, right?
So we partner with a banking partner. And so our banking partner pretty much allows us to help advance people on late payments. And so the way it works is like, think of it like if you owed, or someone owed you $100, our banking partner is saying, hey, we'll advance that person $95. And then when that $100 comes later, we'll kind of collect. And that $5 difference is that spread. And so the idea is kind of like helping people, almost like a quick advance, but the idea is only using it when you need it. And so we've seen in our experience that a lot of like either agencies or like organizations kind of do this, but in a way that's very predatory. Like they're like trying to almost like take advantage of people in their worst situations, as opposed to being like a solution that helps them when they need it the most. And so luckily enough, like with our banking partner, we're able to like do this in a way that doesn't put people in debt, doesn't impact their credit score. And it's a fee that's a flat fee, and will never change, fingers crossed, as long as we continue to like perform the way that we need to. And so that's kind of the whole concept of instant pay is like, you don't need to wait. We have a banking partner that we've convinced to believe in this industry, because what people forget is like, one, we're doing really, really cool work. And also the brands we usually work with are like the best. And so there's not a lot of risk there. It's mostly about like us not knowing we have access to these resources. And so that's what Facecard is all about. It's like packaging all that in a way that's easy, accessible, and easy for you to use.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I was interested as to how it kind of like, I don't want to say demands money from the brand you're working with, but because I see that it sends the invoices. So once it gives you the cash advance, right, and you have the 95 out of the 100, say it's a net 60 job, right? So does it keep sending invoices to that company until they send the banking partner the money that it paid the advance on? Yeah,
so more specifically is like it sends the invoice and it's all tied to your account. And so one thing is we don't like interfere with your relationship, because we think the most important thing in the industry is like relationships. And so we won't be like, hey, Nike, it's Facecard.
Right, you owe some money.
You owe some money. Yeah. It'll all come like simple reminders. And so reminder email like, hey, it's been da-da-da-da, you should have to pay. Hey, it's been da-da-da-da, you should have to pay. And so the same way you probably set a reminder to do it yourself, that's all automated with AI. And what that money is paid into your pretty much instant pay account, we then check and see, hey, is this the money from the Nike job? And then we'll redirect those funds back to the banking partner. And so I'm hoping that makes sense there. Cool.
Yeah, it makes it a lot clearer as far as what's happening on the other side of the app. Yeah. You know, excuse me, because I was interested as to the technicalities as far as like how they get the funds from the brand eventually when they choose to dish out the funds, you know what I mean? Yeah. And holding the brand accountable. And even if it isn't a brand, but more so of like I don't know, I've done gigs with big brands, but the brand isn't the one paying me. It's the person that I'm kind of doing PA work under that needs to pay me.
Exactly.
So talk to me about that type of situation. Like, does Facecard only do like larger brands or a brand of a certain scale, or what clients and what, you get what I'm saying?
No,
saying like qualifies for the use of this service?
Yeah. No, exactly. And it's a great question. And so maybe to peel it back a little bit is to tell you, from our perspective, really kind of what are the things we're assessing when it comes to helping someone get their payment faster. And so one is the validity of the client. And so like, obviously big brands work great, but as long as there's something that we can kind of have a paper trail of like reassuring that this is like a real job, a real invoice. So we're looking at contracts, we're looking at invoices, we're looking at who's the person you're emailing with to make sure like, you didn't just fake an invoice for me and now we're pulling one on Facecard kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's open to all pretty much companies and clients, but those are kind of the things we take into account when we think of like making sure this is something that we can advance. On the other side of that is also like we're working on adding a new thing, which is a proof of work. And so like whether it's like, let's say I came to do this podcast, like is there some BTS picture that you can show us that shows us, hey, you actually did this thing. This isn't something that you made up, or like something that the client's going to say, oh no, they never showed. And so that proof of work adds to like that verification of validity to make sure this is something that we can advance.
And are you guys manually going in and verifying that, or?
So the talent would be. And so.
Oh, the talent provides verification.
Exactly.
How do we know though?
Well, that's why, again, we're still young and kind of working through those issues. But ideally when you tackle in the verification of the proof of work, and then you have the contract, and now we have the invoice, and now we have the person you've been emailing with. It's like we have all these data points to help us make a pretty much like what we call like a risk score of like how risky is it to advance this. And so, for example, if there's a company you want to get advanced, and this is a company that on all the history of the website or the internet, we've seen they've been active for like one day. They started this company yesterday. The email you're sending me has never sent any emails. You have no proof of work. most like in the platform where you say, hey, this is an invoice that we can't advance. But it's simply because like we need to make sure we're balancing risk when it comes to making sure like people are getting paid, but also not like finessing the system.
Yeah. And then when it comes to plugging their information in, so with the example that I gave earlier about it not being the brand who's paying me, even though I'm working on the brand set, I'm working under somebody who's on the set. Does this make sense?
No, it makes sense.
Okay. So do I put in that person's information so Facecard knows who to send the invoices to and who to hold accountable for the funds? Or would I be putting in the brand?
You'd put in whoever
owes you the money.
Whoever you'd send the invoice to. And so it's as simple as, for example, there's another workflow we have where you can just pretty much CC or send us the email with all the information, and the AI will take care of everything.
Okay.
And so if like there's an email that has the contracts and invoice instructions, send it to your Facecard, and then it'll do everything based off that email. And so you don't have to do any of the heavy thinking or heavy lifting. Okay. We understand that like you may be contracted by the brand, but it's the production company that's the one that's invoicing you. And so those nuances or details is exactly why we're building for this space, because we know that in a way that like some other company trying to do this wouldn't really get.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to clarify that, because that's a question I would have is like, wait, so who am I holding accountable right now while using this service, right? Would it be the brand, since technically we are working under the brand, or would it be like my point of contact or whoever the person is who got me onto this set, who is going to be Venmoing me, Zelling me, whatever. That's great that we were able to clarify that. Is there anything else you want to add to what Facecard is and what you guys are bringing to the table with Facecard, or what you want people to know?
Yeah, I would say I want people to know that we're really building this for the culture. I think me and my co-founder don't look like traditional entrepreneurs. We don't talk or dress like traditional founders. And I think in previous years, those were kind of like a disadvantage when you think about building a company or raising capital. But we look at it as like our superpower. And I think that and leaning into that is what allowed us to like be so sleek, be so sexy, be so in tune with what people feel and resonate with. And more importantly, what's allowed us to build that community. And so that being said, like, I think we're really trying to build this for the people. And I think that being said, we also need the people to build with us. And so if there's like people who want to try it or like want to give us feedback, like we sometimes have these like private like group chats where people like try out new features and give us feedback. Like we always want that. We always love that, because we can't build anything without the people we're trying to serve. And so as much as like we can get support from the community, getting on the platform, getting things going, I think that would really allow us to push things forward. And like I said, give people the tools they need to be their own boss, because that's where the future's going. Yeah.
So why the name Facecard?
Yeah. Because Facecard never declines, man. Obviously, I think it was more just like the idea was like Facecard to us, obviously it's like Facecard never declines is very spoken about like your beauty, but we think that like your currency is a reflection of like yourself. Like I think your reflection of how you view your mind, your appearance, like your self-worth is kind of like reflective and like almost a way like how you interact and like the work you do. And when we think about like late payments or like really the payment side of things, like we think that currency should be a reflection of like the full capability and capacity that you have as a creative. And so when we think of like Facecard, not just like your face is a card or the face is a currency, but like you are the value. Like you as an individual are the value. And that's kind of what we're trying to push along, where it's like Facecard isn't just like pretty privilege, but it's more like your self-worth and your skill set and your like tenacity own a currency. And now it's the time to like start making money off of it. And we're the tools that kind of help you do that. Does that make sense?
It does, okay. But I kind of want you to clarify it, because I don't know, that type of, it could get kind of tricky, you know, with like equating money and like, you know, that whole thing, like self-worth, I don't know, like it could get really personal, because with being an artist, especially a model or an actor, you are the product, right? So
Correct.
obviously there is a constructive side to it and perspective, which I believe that's what you just clarified, or what you just explained to us. But it could also get kind of like, I don't know, muddy and scary.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I guess maybe to clarify, it's more the fact that like I think you being the product actually means you control the value. And that's why like you are the form of currency. Like you determine the price, you determine your value. And a lot of the time when you think of like literally the term face card, it's like face card to what you've heard is that it's pretty privilege, which means, oh, if you aren't pretty, you don't have value. But if the value is truly from you, you set the credit card limits. There is no limit. Like if you are a reflection of the currency, like, and if anything, we're trying to teach people that you control the narrative. Like you are the power, especially when it comes to thinking about creativity and the business side of things. Like if you think something is worth this thing, then that's what it's worth, not what they're telling you, because you are the product. Like, and so I understand how like it definitely can be viewed different ways, but if anything, it's more like empowerment. Like you are, can I curse? Like you're the shit. Like you should be like, and so I think we'll see more iterations of it coming in the product, but that's definitely what we're all about. Is like you got this. You're the currency. Like you dictate terms, how things should go, the same way anyone who's a boss does.
Yeah. You saw me for my value. Now give me the value.
Exactly.
Yeah, return the value.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. And I appreciate that you clarified that and went more extensive onto that. So, yeah. Well, is there anything else you want us to know about David?
No, about David? No, David's a cool guy. I think more than anything, like I said, I'm just now kind of getting my feet settled in New York. And so I think we're always looking, I'm always looking to connect with other people, always looking to build relationships, connections, always looking to learn too. So if anyone has like feedback or advice or like thinks this is something they like want to be a part of, like we're always looking to like work with people. Obviously always looking for investors. And so if there's investors here who resonate what we're doing, definitely would love to chat. But no, I think that's really it. I think I always tell my co-founder, I don't want to be like a influencer, but more like everyone's friend, because like I think of like our parties, like I don't want to be the guy who like people feel like they can't talk to. I want to feel like the guy that like I'm the one who can get you a drink. Like, oh, where's the bathroom, David? Oh, I got you. Let me walk you over there. Like, hey, can I get a cup of water? Like, oh yeah, I got you. I'll go get it. And so kind of a man of the people as opposed to someone like up in the clouds kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, where can the people find you?
So our Instagram is at FacecardHQ. My personal Instagram is D_AKINYEMI. But follow our company's Instagram, not me. I'm boring. The company's what's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, I think that this is going to be such a useful tool. I already in my head am thinking about all the people who could benefit from this tool. And I think this is the perfect resource to have on the show. So I'm so glad that you were able to talk to us about it on What's the Rate. And I appreciate your time. And thank you for creating a tool like this.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I'm
yeah.
excited.
Yeah, of course. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of What's the Rate here on the Resource Season on Season 2. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.